At least one congressman felt it was important to observe 1 year since the rally in Charlottesville turned deadly, saying, quote, "I wish I could just say never again, but I recognize we have a long way to go to remove the hate and prejudice in our country and our communities. Each and every one of us has a duty to call it out and to do what we can to stop it." Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Donald McEachin from Virginia. Congressman, that was you. And as we look at where we're at this weekend, what do you think has changed, and what are you looking to change in the coming year?
Well, I hope that we'll be able to come together as a nation and really push back against all the hate that we've seen just sort of explode on the national scene over the past year. There's no doubt that this country's had a race problem for any number of years, but we were making progress, and those folks were being pushed back to the shadows that had so much hate. Now they've come out, and it's up to us, those of us who don't believe in that, those of us who believe in a United States of America, a more perfect union, if you will. It's up to us to push back and push them back into the shadows and continue to make the progress that I know we can make.
Representative, I want to play a little bit of sound here and then get your reaction.
We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides. You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did.
You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. Well, you shouldn't be playing, you shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't be in the country.
I said it the other day, yes, she is a low IQ individual, Maxine Waters. I said it the other day.
We have people coming into the country, or trying to come in. We're stopping a lot of them. But we're taking people out of the country. You wouldn't believe how bad these people are. These aren't people. These are animals. I am, as I say often, I am the least racist person that anybody's going to meet.
Earlier today, there was also this here, Representative, a tweet from the president about fighting for and securing the lowest African-American Hispanic unemployment rates in history, pushing for prison reform. All of this underlining here, Representative, what he believes he has done for minority communities in light of many studies that show many Americans feel that we're worse off when it comes to race relations. What more should this White House do to reduce and reverse some of the problems you mentioned in your first answer?
There's so much the president needs to do in that regard that I could talk to you for an hour about it. But among those things is to recognize that folks have a right to protest and not to pick on sports figures like he has with LeBron James and the NFL football players. Not to call people low IQ individuals. Maxine Waters is a very smart person. Don Lemons is a very smart person. It's evident by the accomplishments that they've made. So stop dividing the country, stop attacking people in the way he does from his bully pulpit. That would be a start.
You know, President Obama, you remember when he came to the microphones, it was a speech he did not necessarily want to have to make at that stage of his presidency. And you remember that when he came out and he was talking about race in America. Would that work for this president? Should he come out with a keynote speech, a manifesto, if you will, on his approach to race relations in America?
No, I don't think that's going to help him. You know, in my church, we like to say we rather see a sermon than hear a sermon. And this president can talk all the talk that he wants, but he needs to start walking the walk. He needs to start actually doing things that unify this country. His tweets, his comments, you know, they change like the weather, really. You know, there's a tweet this morning, and there may be something later on this evening that directly contradicts it, and none of us would be surprised if that happened. So, no, I don't want to see a sermon. I don't want to hear a sermon. I want to see a sermon. I want to see him do things to bring this country together.